If a person asks you to do something again and again, you can use the word nag. Notice that a person, usually in the form of an object pronoun, almost always comes after the word nag. For example, Tarek's wife is nagging him to fix the window. Joe's father nagged him to get his hair cut until he finally did it. Ariana's boss keeps nagging her to work more hours on the weekend, but she doesn't want to. This toothache is nagging me. I have to see a dentist. The teacher has to nag some students to remember to bring a pen or pencil to class. Do you think I'm nagging you too much? You can also use the word nag as a noun. Daryl's wife is kind of a nag. All the nagging that she does is starting to get on his nerves. Her neighbors also think she's a nag. They can hear her nagging her husband all the time.
Nail. A nail is a piece of hardware that is used in the construction of large or small objects. You usually need a hammer in order to drive the nail into something. John needed a hammer and some nails to fix his garage door. Nails joined the 2x4s together as the house was built. I used a nail to hang a picture on the wall. The word nail is often used as a verb. The carpenters are nailing together a frame for a wall. It took them just about an hour to nail this together. Wallboard will be nailed to the frame. There are many expressions that use the word nail. The police finally nailed the guy who was breaking into the houses on our street. He got nailed by the police. I'm going to get nailed to the cross if I arrive late. The owner of the company nailed him down on some specific proposals. Maria is trying to nail down a few new customers this week. Tom nailed all the questions he was asked during the interview. Nailed it. You can also use the word nail when describing fingernails. She paints her nails with pink polish. Wynn does nails for a living. She's a manicurist. It's not polite to cut your nails in public. Naive. To be naive is to lack a certain knowledge about situations and people. This adjective is similar to the word innocent. Pay close attention to the pronunciation of this word. Naive. Naive. She's a very naive person. He's naive when it comes to negotiations. You're so naive. Stop being so naive. It's naive to believe that. He's young and naive. Soon he'll learn the facts of life. They were naive to believe the salesperson's claims about the car they purchased. A lawyer took advantage of his naive clients and stole thousands of dollars from them. When this word is in the form of a noun, it becomes naivete. Susan's complete trust in the people she supervised revealed her naivete. Your naivete is showing. When the man learned of the woman's naivete and innocence, he felt a need to protect her. Name. You probably know the meaning of this word already, but pay attention to all the different ways in which it is used. A name is a word or a title that a person or a thing goes by. What's your name? Who named you that? Were you named after someone in your family? What's your last name? Do you go by any other name? Do you have a nickname? We named our son Martin after Martin Luther King Jr. How many different states in the United States are you able to name? Can you name the capital of Germany? What's the name of this place? When this word is used as a verb, it means to appoint a person to a position or identify someone for special recognition. Ted was named Top Salesperson of the Month. The person named to fill the position of CEO comes from outside the company. Who will be named manager of the team? There are many expressions and phrases that include the word name. I don't have a penny to my name. Stop calling names. The police are asking residents to start naming names. He's the president of the company in name only. They don't want to do anything that would spoil their good name. She's a name dropper. The word namely is similar to mainly or specifically. There are many good sources for fresh water in the Midwest, coming namely from the Great Lakes region, underground aquifers, and the rivers that run through the area. Nanny. A nanny is a person who takes care of other people's children. It's similar to the job of babysitter, except that a nanny usually lives in the home of the children who are cared for. Mary works as a nanny. She has been working as a nanny for the last 10 years. Would you like to get a job as a nanny? It's popular among some people in the United States to hire a nanny who comes from another country and speaks a language other than English. Spanish, French, Chinese, Russian, and Arabic are among some of the languages that parents want their young children to hear and learn from a nanny. Nannies usually take care of children younger than 5. Some are hired to take care of infants. Another name for a nanny is an au pair. Most au pairs working in the United States are young women. Nap. When a person sleeps during the day, you can use the word nap. He's taking a nap. My baby is napping. Babies take a lot of naps. Taking a nap during the day is good for you. Do you need a nap? A 30-minute nap in the afternoon is all you need. The owner of the company encourages his employees to take naps. Some Americans use the Spanish word siesta when describing a nap. I need a siesta. Don't bother Ted right now. He's taking a siesta. Sometimes the word nap is used when a person isn't paying attention. I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you said. I must have been napping. Half of the audience was napping during the speech made by the CEO. Narrow. The opposite of wide is narrow. When there is very little space on either side of an opening, or when something looks thin or skinny, the word narrow might be a good choice. The walkways and streets in some European cities can be quite narrow. Many people fold in the side mirrors on their cars when parked on narrow streets. Some canals are too narrow for large ships to pass through. Narrow neckties were popular in the 1980s. To achieve an hourglass figure, some women try to make their waist look narrow by wearing a corset. It's also possible to use the word narrow when describing something that happens or doesn't happen. The fish made a narrow escape from the fisherman's net. The fish narrowly escaped capture. A person who chooses not to pursue a good education narrows his or her opportunities later in life. Low interest rates and a weak economy presented a narrow opportunity for home buyers who wanted to save on mortgage expenses. Native. A person or a thing that is native to a place is original or claims to be original. This is a useful word for someone who moves to another country. What is your native country? What is the native language of the country that you come from? Sylvia's native language is Spanish. She's from Venezuela. Some native people living in Peru still follow a primitive lifestyle. There are several native plants and flowers in Gloria's garden. They grow very easily. Lions and tigers are native to many different parts of Africa. In the United States, the word native is often used with the word American when describing the people who were here before Europeans colonized North America. We used to use the word Indian. It's much better to say Native American. There are many Native Americans living in Minnesota. Native American folklore and history are very interesting, taking place over thousands of years. Several Native American languages are still spoken today. It's possible to use the word native as a noun. In this case, it's used to describe a person. The natives of many countries around the world were denied political representation until recently. The natives are getting restless. Nature. There are several different ways to use the word nature. It can be used to describe areas and situations that human beings don't control. Wild forces in nature can be quite destructive. Most people have an appreciation of nature. Nature has a way of restoring itself. The beauty of nature is impossible to duplicate exactly, yet we try. The word nature can also be used to describe a person's character. It's not in her nature to get so upset. He has a very pleasant nature. It's in Mary's nature to be generous. Sometimes this word refers to a situation or a reason. What is the nature of this visit? The nature of the police officer's questions raised the curiosity of people nearby. There was a sudden snowstorm. Things of this nature don't happen frequently here. It's in the nature of science to reduce things to their simplest forms. We have to let nature take its course. The words nature and natural are adjectives. A nature center is a place where visitors can see plants and animals in their native habitat. Steve and Linda like to go for nature walks. They're nature lovers. Natural forests are worth preserving. An angry outburst was the natural result of her frustration. Rick is a natural when it comes to baseball. Sarah prefers a natural look for her hair. Her hair has a natural curl. The word naturally is an adverb. The color of her skin naturally gets darker whenever she visits her parents in Florida. Naturally clean water is getting harder to find. Most of what we drink has been treated. He's naturally suited for this position. Parents are naturally protective of their children. We've been unnaturally busy at work lately. Our boss is unnaturally pleasant today. Normally, he's short with everyone. Naughty. Use the word naughty to describe bad behavior, especially when describing children. Naughty behavior is not extremely bad, but it's bad enough to draw the attention of parents or other adults who witness it. Those children are being naughty. The girl was punished for being naughty. A boy was sent to the school's principal because he used some naughty words in class. Santa always knows which children are naughty or nice. The movie we saw last night had a few naughty parts. Las Vegas has a reputation for naughtiness. Nausea. You can pronounce this word in one of two ways: nausea or nausea. When a person experiences nausea, he or she is sick. There's often a physical feeling that makes a person want to throw up or vomit. Rachel experienced nausea during her pregnancy. A side effect of this medicine is nausea. If a passenger experiences nausea during a flight, the airline will provide a small bag that he or she can throw up in. This is also known as a barf bag. The word nauseate is a verb. Everyone was nauseated by the fumes from the machine. The couple's public display of affection was nauseating everyone on the bus. This situation nauseates me. The words nauseated, nauseating, and nauseous are adjectives. She feels nauseated. She feels nauseous. What's that nauseating smell? The fact that innocent people were killed in the conflict is nauseating. Why does he feel so nauseous? What did he eat? Near. The word near is very similar to close or close to. This is a good preposition to understand. Jorge lives near the place where he works. He lives close to the place where he works. There's a police station near the school. Is there a hospital near here? Don't let the kids play near the stove. Amina and Ali live near the ocean. The ball is very near the hole. The word nearly is an adverb. The ball nearly made it into the cup. The construction project is nearly finished. They nearly escaped injury. We're nearly done. It's nearly 10 o'clock. I nearly missed your call. She nearly made it on time. A word similar to near is nearby. It often appears at the end of a sentence or question. Is there a drugstore nearby? My friends live nearby. That movie we want to see is showing at a theater nearby. Let's go there.
Neat. Use the word neat to describe something that is clean and organized. The word neat is an adjective. Their apartment is very neat. My desk isn't neat. There's a lot of junk on it. Alice and Randy live in a neat neighborhood. The houses and yards are well maintained. Carl's suit is neat and clean. It's hard to keep little kids looking neat and clean for very long. They get dirty fast. The store is neat and tidy. Everything is easy to find. Everything is well organized. You can also use neat to describe something you like or something that you admire. This is a neat restaurant. Look at how it's decorated with 1950s furniture and all the stuff on the walls. That's a neat car. I wish I could afford to buy it. That was a neat trick. How did you do that?
Necessary. When something is important or required, we say that it's necessary. You need to do something, and if you don't do it, there could be a negative consequence. It's necessary to learn English if you live in the United States or do business with a company in the United States. Filling out this paperwork is necessary if you want to get your rebate. Is this necessary? Do I need to do this? I don't think this is necessary. It's necessary to wear a heavy coat during the winter. The word necessary is an adjective. It's often used with the negative form of the verb be. We found out that it wasn't necessary to do all that work. These extra options for the car aren't necessary, so let's not get them. A coat won't be necessary today. It's going to be warm. All that salt in the recipe isn't necessary. You can reduce it by half. The adverb form is a little difficult to use and pronounce. In a sentence, it looks like this. This isn't necessarily the truth. She doesn't necessarily need to do that.
Needle. There are many different kinds of needles. Generally, a needle is long and sharp at the end. It's used as a medical device or as part of a machine or a gauge. The pictures below match the descriptions for each type of needle. Number 1. The little boy started to cry a little when he saw the size of the needle. 2. You use a needle and thread when you want to sew something. 3. The needle on this old record player needs to be replaced. 4. A needle picks up sounds from the grooves in a record. 5. The needle on this timer is close to 0. 6. The needle on his gas gauge shows that he's almost out of gas. 7. His stomach hurts. It feels like someone is poking him in the stomach with a needle.
Negative. Use the word negative to describe attitudes, opinions, responses, comments, and results. Negative is the opposite of positive. Yolanda has a negative attitude at work. Why is she so negative about everything? Don't be so negative. Harold developed negative feelings about his job. It's a good idea to stay away from people who are negative if you want to succeed in life. His answer to the proposal was negative. The reviews of the movie were mostly negative. The student countered the teacher's position with a negative argument. Public reaction to the speech was largely negative. Negative feedback from employees resulted in changes to their health insurance benefits. The results of the pregnancy test were negative. Mario tested negative for the virus. We're all relieved that the tests came back negative. The negative effects of alcohol on the body and the brain are well known. If you multiply two negative numbers together, the result is a positive number. We studied negative ions in science class today. Peter's blood type is AB negative. Batteries have negative and positive terminals. It's also possible to use negative as a noun. Their response was in the negative. You have to weigh the positives against the negatives when making a decision. The negativity in the room could not be offset by Maria's cheerful attitude. Neglect. To neglect is to choose not to do something or to ignore a responsibility. The woman was neglecting her children, so the state took them away from her. Because Steve neglected his responsibilities at work, he was let go. You can't neglect to pay your taxes in the United States. Eventually, the U.S. government will find out and fine you or put you in jail. Don't neglect your duties. The house was neglected by the owners and eventually torn down. In the next set of sentences, the word neglect is a noun. After years and years of neglect, the house was torn down because there were too many things that needed to be fixed. The old man died of neglect in a nursing home. Horses suffering from neglect had to be put down. Child neglect is a punishable offense in the United States. If you have children, you must take care of them. Negotiate. To negotiate is to go through the process of forming an agreement or making a deal. This word is often used in business and government. Most car dealers are willing to negotiate on the price of a vehicle. Do you normally pay the price shown on a price tag, or do you negotiate? The seller of the house says she won't negotiate. The two sides in the Civil War refused to negotiate. The government negotiated for the release of hostages. The word negotiation is a noun. Workers in management went through a series of negotiations before settling on a contract. Negotiations over the release of the hostages lasted for several days. Brian says he's not very good at negotiating. Skilled negotiators created the terms for the agreement. Neighbor. A person who lives nearby or next door is a neighbor. Our next door neighbors are very nice people. Bob borrowed a lawnmower from his neighbor and returned it when he was finished using it. Vince and Olivia sent over a plate of cookies to welcome their new neighbors. The neighbors who live a few doors down are having a party this weekend. The word neighborhood is the place in which people live. Vi and Win are looking for a nice neighborhood to move into. The neighborhood they live in now is kind of dangerous. We have a lot of children in our neighborhood. Daniel's neighborhood is becoming a little too expensive, so he's moving. The word neighborly is an adjective that describes the kind actions of a neighbor. That's very neighborly of you. Thank you. The woman across the street sent over some flowers from her garden. That was very neighborly. Don Wilson isn't taking care of his house or his yard. That's not very neighborly. The word neighboring is also an adjective that means something is close. A neighboring county experienced severe thunderstorms last night. Countries neighboring Syria are nervous about the civil war in that country spilling over its borders. A big fire required extra help from neighboring towns. Neither. The word neither is similar to the word none. However, you usually use neither when there are two things, two groups, two people, a person and a group, etc. There are two acceptable pronunciations for this word. Neither or neither. In these sentences, neither is an adjective. Neither applicant is qualified for the position. Neither store had what I was looking for. She likes neither one. In these sentences, neither is a pronoun. Maria likes neither of the apartments that she looked at today. When asked about her choices, she said that neither was acceptable. Neither of the choices is acceptable. She doesn't like this one or that one. She likes neither. The word neither is also used as a conjunction with another conjunction, nor. The workers are neither well paid nor secure in their positions. An SUV is neither a car nor a truck. It's somewhere in between. Neither a lender nor a borrower be.